Hello and welcome to Crypto News. Today is June 24th, 2025, and the top cryptocurrency news is as follows. We're going to go to our spot Bitcoin ETFs, which I want to tell you that despite all this turmoil in Asia, investors are still investing in them. For this reason, we've only had inflows, as you can see. In addition to our ETFs, I would like to tell you that they've recorded $1.2 billion in inflows from ETPs this time, which as you can see are all in the green, with most of the money going into Bitcoin and a very small outflow into SUI, nothing to worry about. Moving on, we can't help but move on to a very interesting development from DeFi Development Corp, which as we know is a company that's buying Solana like there's no tomorrow. This company announced plans to tokenize its stock, please, on Kraken. All of this will happen thanks to the partnership between Kraken and X stocks. And as we've seen in previous episodes, thanks to this partnership, there could be tokenization of stocks like Apple, Tesla, Nvidia, and other big US stocks in addition to this company here. So as we see, stocks are coming to cryptocurrencies. Continuing, I would like to tell you that Strategy bought 245 Bitcoin worth $24.8 million, and maybe Mr. Seller is starting to run out of money. Meanwhile, Metaplanet bought 1,111 Bitcoin in a conventional market, and with this purchase, it reached its goal of 10% by 2026, and by 2026, it wants to have accumulated 100,000 Bitcoin. Please. So it's at 10%. And moving on, we're going to a new company that's buying Bitcoin, and this is a real estate giant. And we're talking about Cardone Capital. This company manages $5.1 billion, and we learned that it bought 1,000 BTC and is aiming to buy another 3,000 BTC. So real estate mogul Grant Cardone announced the first Bitcoin purchase by the company. Cardone Capital is a private equity real estate firm that was founded in 2017. It raises investor funds to acquire apartment buildings and currently manages more than 14,000 units with an estimated $5.1 billion in assets under management. Moving on, let me tell you that ARK Invest continues to sell shares of Circle and sold $111 million of its shares. And from our companies, it's time to go to our coins, and we're gonna go to the Midnight Network. Midnight, for those who don't know, is a layer 2 of Cardano, which aims to be the privacy solution for Cardano. Any transaction that goes in there is considered private, and no one can identify where it came from or where it's going. As we know, there will be an airdrop, which will give 100% of the cryptocurrencies to the users, not even the founders, the co-founders, the VCs, the exchanges. From behind, right, left, 100% will be made available to the public, which is very rare, as you can imagine. Let's say the latest news is that the white paper, 45 pages for this token, has been released, and we learn for starters that during the airdrop, users who have more than $100 in Cardano, Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Ledger, Solana, BNB Chain, Avalanche, and BAT as of a screenshot taken on June 11th are eligible for this Midnight token airdrop. And let's also say that you won't get it all at once. Those who manage to get their hands on these coins will receive 25% every 90 days until we reach 360 days. So you'll have 100% of the coins in your hands within a year. Let's say now that below in the description you will find the white paper to read if you want. Moving on from the Cardano news, let's move on to the Pump.fun news, which as we know on June 25th was supposed to have its own ICO to issue its own coin. However, this seems to be postponed to July due to legal issues. And since we are talking about legal issues, let's move on to phishing. First, let's say that the Cointelegraph page was hacked, and on the front end, that is on what we as users see, a pop-up window appeared, which is a message that usually appears in the center of the screen. It was advertising the Cointelegraph coin, which apparently does not exist, and it was also promoting an airdrop and so on, so be very careful. This threat has been neutralized as far as we know. Nevertheless, the fact remains. And while we're on the subject of phishing, let's talk about the Trezor hard wallet, which the company is warning us about again. Let's say that what the criminals are doing is modifying the Trezor support email to tell you that there's a problem and asking for your keys to rescue you. Obviously, you should never give out your keys to your hard wallets, and you should be very careful with this type of scam. Moving on, let's go to our favorite cryptocurrency market with Bitcoin at $105,000. First, let's assume that the price of Bitcoin has reached $98,000, with market liquidity exceeding $1.79 billion in volume. What happened, as we already know from crypto news, is that the price of Bitcoin plummeted after Trump confirmed an incident in Iran, which, as we said, was a confirmed attack. For those of you who don't know, on your right, that yellow box shows the holes from the bombs that fell on Iran's nuclear facilities. Then, we learned that the Iranian foreign minister met with Russian officials in Moscow to begin diplomatic discussions on weapons, nuclear, and other issues. Nevertheless, the price of Bitcoin, which was at $98,000, jumped sharply to $106,000. The reason is that it seems that Iran and Israel have reached an agreement. According to the President of the United States, there will be a complete and total ceasefire, so the war will be considered over, as the US President described it as the 12-day war. And that is exactly why, after this announcement, Bitcoin saw such a big rise. That wraps up the top news for crypto. Today is June 24th, 2025. I'd like to remind you that the content you just watched is created for educational purposes only and should not be considered as investment advice, but rather as investment opinion. Please subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and feel free to comment. Take care, everyone, and have a good day.